What is happening, you fine people out there in comic book land? It is Comic Book Canon episode 170, Joe.
Woo!
170 episodes of this fine show. And little did we know when we started, Joe, when we were just like these wee little babies, that we would become the most popular show ever on YouTube.
Ever.
It's never going to change either. We will always be the most popular show. We have 10 million people watching right now. And we're 30 seconds in.
Yeah. It's a situation. It's like a Will Chamberlain record. It's just not going to be broken. Not
They'll never
possible.
go away. I mean,
not in the modern age.
And lucky for all you fine people, we are humble, and we don't brag much.
Right. Very down to earth people. Despite we just started the show. 12 million people already.
12 million people already. Joe, I did ask for Perrier, and I have not gotten. I got LaCroix instead of Perrier.
Look, LaCroix is good, but I'm a Polar guy.
Polar, okay. All right. I can see that in you. Yo, they got a good black cherry seltzer. Polar.
Quick fun fact, non-comic related. One of my bands multiple times wrote and emailed Polar and tagged them and stuff online, trying to get them to sponsor us.
Oh, dude.
It didn't work, but we ended up visiting their factory when we were on tour. It's right outside of Boston.
Oh, you visited the factory?
Yes.
That's amazing. Dude. So close to getting sponsored, I bet. So close to the CEO. When you visited that factory, you should have just stepped into his office and be like, look, let us pitch you something here.
I know.
I do want to say that Paul Bond is a Spindrift guy, and that's real fruit juice, by the way. So it's not, I can't say it's quite like seltzer.
It's different. It's different.
It's definitely different. Spindrift is good. I do like the citrus varieties in Spindrift. I think they have a grapefruit and a lemon and a lime. But geez, we are getting completely off track. 13 million people are waiting for us to talk about the things that we love to talk about here. So as we do every week, we have structure on this show, everybody. You don't get to the most popular YouTube show of all time without structure. Am I right, Joe? We just don't do this willy-nilly. And we always start off with the news. The news segment is always what kicks us off. And you are like the CEO of the news segment, right?
I wouldn't call myself the CEO. I just have a very calming voice, so it makes sense for me to do it. Your voice, honestly, I'm be real. It's a little abrasive.
It's jarring. It's jarring. And I have no apologies over that, but it is what it is. Is basically where we're at right now. So why don't we get into it? Your best NPR voice. This is the third news segment of the year. Maybe we should do like a musical intro for the news segments going forward. We can create one.
I don't know about a musical segment, but I think maybe like a 2-second like whoosh, the news.
Hit. Yeah, for sure. Oh, you want sound effects more than that. All right, well, let's just, you know what, man? I'm just excited. Let's just get into it because actually, some of this news is exciting, to be honest. I see 2 out of the 5 pieces of news 3 out of the 5 news items we have is exciting. So let's go for it, shall we?
Yeah, didn't someone want to say hello before we get started?
Oh, right. I'm not reading the rundown. Oh, geez. He is getting, it is a cold show, by the way. Let us know where you are in the world. Let us know how cold it is where you are, how warm it is. But for certain somebody, our AI-generated correspondent. Take it away, chat.
Joe, Jeff, you still clinging to ground level? I'm shredding Himalayas. Last week, Beach Bod, this week, Snow God. But enough living the dream. Let's talk comics. Gear up for nerd avalanches, plot twists colder than Yeti breath, and Chet-fueled wisdom. No frostbite guaranteed, matey. It's canon time, baby. Let's get nerdy.
What was the... you know what? He is really growing on us. He's really become a team player. He wasn't angry at me for almost forgetting about the hello. And I'm happy. All right, chat. We'll see you back, for the new comic book day. Get warm, get toasty, shred some gnar or whatever it is, and let's just get into the news, shall we?
Shred the gnar.
Yeah.
Okay, Boomer. All right, we're getting into the news. We're talking about
Sorry.
We're talking about a very exciting topic for much of the comic book community, and that is that next week, Daredevil Born Again will begin filming. This is huge, right off the tails of a quick Daredevil cameo and a major Kingpin appearance in the Echo series, which was positively received. The news is that this is going to start filming. They did some rewrites. Remember, this was originally like all set to go, and then during the writer's strike, I guess things changed around, and they finally put together a team, started this thing off, and they are ready for filming this week. I'm super excited. And one little fact I heard, we talked about it last week, how I said specifically I was so excited by Echo that I started rewatching Daredevil. That has been a kind of a widespread phenomenon where those shows have not just Daredevil, but also Defenders, Punisher, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones. Yes, even Iron Fist have seen a surge in people watching them on the new Disney Plus app, just to revisit those characters as, we may be seeing some of them, are obviously going to be seeing Daredevil, but we may be seeing some others as well. I think it's just really cool that it's kind of brought that back as something that has been, what people want to watch.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with this. I'm just curious from a production standpoint, given that is my background, what they already went into production. That's why we have the little Daredevil Born Again. What are they going to keep some things? Or are they scrapping everything? Because they were weeks into production where they're like, you know what, this is not working out here. Let's move along. I do love hearing about the fact that there is, a jump in viewership on those Netflix shows in general.
Yeah.
I mean, even Iron Fist, which there were some decent moments in Iron Fist. I loved how the ending, by the way. I'll keep it there, but it's just exciting because these are the street level heroes. These are the kind of this will fit under the spotlight banner for sure. I mean, Daredevil's not going to go up against Thanos anytime soon or some galactic kind of I mean, he could, sure, but I don't see that happening. So it's exciting that this kind of sub world is being built within the MCU umbrella.
Yeah. And like I've said multiple times, I'm such a street level guy. Like, I've kind of been a little bit bummed with Spidey in the MCU because he's been so,
cosmic,
not just cosmic, but just like, global threat level Spider-Man. Even when he's not like, actually doing cosmic stuff, it's still been like the global threat Spider-Man, not nearly as much the New York Spider-Man. New York City, like the Homecoming with the Vulture. That was my kind of Spidey movie.
Yeah, I agree. And, me being a gigantic Spider-Man fan, I want to see that. So we're going to, the next movie is supposed to be set in college or something like that. So hopefully he works his way into all of this as well. That'll be very exciting for us. Netflix, kind of gritty, grimy type of shows that we liked and enjoyed so much a few years ago. Yeah. So that being said, let's move on to another gritty, grimy, street level kind of group of heroes, shall we? This is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. We recently heard that they are ending the current Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles run at IDW. I believe with issue 150. I believe that's the one that is going to be capping off the run. And they're going to be doing kind of a reboot, starting at issue number 1. And the initial reaction that I saw online, at least, was groans. I hate when they start over. Why don't they just continue the numbering? I hate when they go back to 1. It's a cash grab, blah, blah, blah. That quickly turned around because we got word this past week that Jason Aaron, very popular writer, has worked on Thor. I think Jason Aaron Thor has been like the kind of go-to. He's worked on Avengers, tons of stuff at Marvel. He's going to be taking over the TMNT run and starting with issue 1, I believe coming out within the next few months. That is, how they're going to be doing it. And things kind of turned around as far as the consensus. It went from that, I can't believe they're starting over again, blah, 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 cash grab to, wait, Jason Aaron's taking over? Oh, hold on a second. This could be really cool. So, yeah, I'm excited. Might be time for me to start picking that run up again. I wasn't buying the current TMNT run, but maybe this is kind of encouraged me to start reading that new one.
Yeah, this is exciting. The run here with the 150 issues that they're going to end probably in the next 2 months. There's been some cool things that have happened in it. Having Jason Aaron as a part of I do believe it's a relaunch and not a reboot. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I meant to say soft reboot. I think
yeah,
that's more
because
of
they're not gonna like just throw everything off to the side that happened in those 150 issues, which started in 2011, which is like unprecedented these days for a book to get to 150 issues. Except for like, obviously Spawn. I don't know what else is out there. I don't know. But having Jason Aaron, I don't know if y'all read Southern Bastards with his creator-owned property. That is outstanding. I think he's from Alabama and his experiences with Alabama football and all that stuff. So I'm excited for this. I hope it's a more mature theme kind of a presentation in terms of the Turtles. Because this could be great. Like, honestly, just what you said, Joe, it's like piquing your interest for very good reasons.
Yeah, for sure. And, TMNT is really interesting because you have the people that got into TMNT like in the 80s as the comics were coming out. And those people are fewer and farther between. I think that the kind of generation, my generation, a little bit younger, people in their, mid to early 30s and even in their late 20s that watched the television show, that was kind of that big boom of Turtles. So you've got the OGs, you've got that group, but you've also got people that watched the 2000s movies and people like my 7-year-old nephew who I took to see TMNT Mutant Mayhem over the summer. You've got a property similar to Star Wars, similar to Spider-Man, Batman, that just it does not stop.
Generations,
generational, multi-generational, intellectual property. Characters that just have been around for Turtles 84, so they're going on 40 years this year.
Jesus,
which crazy. So very cool to see that. I'm excited.
Yeah, very excited for sure. Moving on. Some people are excited about this. I'm excited too, but some people got a little too excited about this and actually were like, ah. But Joe, next up, what do we got? It's actually DCU. Yeah,
we're gonna take a look at this. Jeff, put it on the screen because we've got a look at the new Creature Commandos from James Gunn and the new universe. Believe, there we go on that shirt right there. Kind of a new look. Obviously, it's not the original Creature Commandos team from the 70s. We knew that already. We had an idea of who was going to be showing up. But now we have a kind of a first look in costume, these characters. And Jeff, you said people are getting excited.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first look we have at official merchandise for the DCU proper. You know what I mean?
Oh, I didn't think about it that way. But
that's the very first thing we're seeing. We got to look at the characters when they made the announcements that this will be the first thing that they release, these Creature Commandos, this cartoon series that will have actors that could play them on the big screen or TV shows, etc. But this right here is showing like, hey, things are moving forward now. And I don't know, people were saying, wash their mouth out with soap with Aquaman, and then they could finally move on to the next thing, which is this Creature Commandos.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I haven't even seen Aquaman yet.
Nor have
I honestly have turned off to the DC. I waited till Blue Beetle was available on streaming, and I did not even see Aquaman. But I'm all in on the Gunn universe. I'm all in on even Superman Legacy. As someone who's not a Superman fan, I'm excited for these properties.
Definitely, I'm very excited for this. I don't know much about Creature Commandos, to be honest with you, but this is the first step that they're taking.
I don't think many people know about Creature Commandos.
Josh is saying that where's Josh? Nobody's excited for that. And Josh does have his finger on the pulse when it comes to these types of things where film, TV series, he has all the spoilers. He's got he should literally be our man on the street, like literally hitting the pavement there. Getting the story, getting one of those newsman hats with a pencil that says press right here. I would love. Oh God, that would be amazing. He'd be into it. But yeah, I'm excited for this because it's the first step, and I think it's coming out.
Yeah,
first half of this year.
Right. I think people are more excited about a fresh take on the DC universe, rather than specifically like, oh, Creature Commandos. Whoa. I think it's more like just kind of that preview almost, looking forward
Yes.
to see what we're going to get out of James Gunn and Peter Safran.
Again, this will be the first step. It's a big first step because we're moving away. Granted, I do need to see. I will watch Aquaman when it hits Max. I had plans on seeing it in the theater, but I was just like, Hey, yo, your wife. That's funny.
Martha.
That's funny.
One of the worst. Remember what? It was when we were dating still. Like we made jokes about that scene.
It's one of the worst moments in cinematic history. Let's put it that way. With two of the biggest global characters that people have known for decades. Yeah. Terrible. Anyways, can we wash our mouth out?
We can.
Can we move forward? Because this one is like
we can wash our mouth out with weasel piss.
Weasel's
in the he's in the Creature Commandos.
There he is. He is the second to the left, right there.
Yep.
And he was in Suicide Squad as well. Anyways, yeah, let's move on.
All right, so we're gonna circle back a little bit because some more news has come out regarding this ongoing CGC reholder scandal issue. There was a really good video, and I think it cleared up a lot of things regarding the situation, how it's going to be going forward. I watched the whole video. Actually, I listened to the whole video. I was driving at the time that it popped up. So I just listened to it, but it was hosted by West Coast Dave Vengers, awesome member of the community, fun guy. And I get told that I look like him a lot because we both have glasses and a beard, and apparently that's enough to look alike. He hosted not only 9.9 Newsstand, who is the Instagram user who broke the story initially, but also Matt Nelson, president of CGC himself, came on and did honestly a very candid, interview. He wasn't able to say everything. Obviously, it's an ongoing investigation. There are legal issues involved, so some stuff can and can't be said. But he was rather transparent. Obviously, he's talking about his company, and a lot of people in the chat were like, "Oh, he's just trying to save. He's trying to save his own ass. He's trying to save CGC's ass." Yeah, that is obviously a factor, but I think that CGC is handling this in a appropriate and acceptable way, as we've talked about. One thing that he did drop, and a lot of people are calling this a little diversion, a little distraction from what's going on. He let slip, or maybe intentionally let slip, that CGC will start doing 9.9 pre-screens. This has caused quite a bit of uproar. People calling it a distraction, people calling it a cash grab. This is what I commented specifically on the post about this. I commented saying, I wish I had the exact words that I wrote because I thought I put it into good words, but I'm going to try to reiterate as best as I can. I don't believe that 9.9 should exist. I believe that, there is a viable difference, a noticeable difference between a 9.8 and a 10. 10 is a flawless book. 9.8 can have production issues. 9.8 can have even a spine tick or something like that. Maybe a little spot of color rub, tiny one. 10s are perfect books. 9.9, in my opinion, leaves too much up to human error / human opinion. And for that reason, I don't think that grade should exist. There are so few books that get a 9, like actual comic books that get a 9.9. There are plenty of cardstock covers, square bound books, and things like that. A lot of those like cardstock foils, you can get 9.9s and 10s. Square bound books. Look at Last Ronin. People were getting 9.9s and 10s. And what was that Joker? The 3 Jokers?
Yep.
People got 9.9s and 10s on those because they're square bound books. A lot of these like foil cardstock variants. For those books, yeah, they're going to get 9.9s and 10s. For standard comic book, 9.9s are so rare and 10s are even rarer. I don't see the need for this other than just grading these modern books that are coming out that are quite honestly not holding value on a regular basis. So for me, I can't see myself ever putting in a 9.9 pre-screen, because I don't really submit books that I would be sad if they were a 9.8. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't see myself ever doing a 9.9 pre-screen. I think I don't think it's good for the community. I don't think it's good for the hobby. I do think it's a distraction and a cash grab on CGC's part. I've given them a lot of kudos recently for how they're handling the other situation, changes they're making and stuff. But I'm not a fan of this one, and I'm going to be open and honest about that. And Jeff, I've been rambling, so I'll let you talk now.
Yeah, I have to say there's such a slim margin to distinguish a 9.9 to a 10. It is a cash grab. It's just
right.
It's kind of just ridiculous to throw that out there. And it is kind of a check mark against them at this point when they have garnered such goodwill with the way they've handled things with this mess. With the Reholder gate. I don't know. It's just weird. It just is like you take 2 steps forwards and 3 steps back in a way with this. It's just a little annoying thing. You want that 9.8 has kind of the market for a 9.8 is like, that is almost the best of the best, almost the best of the best. And in the rarest cases, the 10 happens, right? Now you're squishing a 9.9 in between. It just kind of cheapens everything, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And one of the big issues that I see here is, let's take a book like, off the top of my head, I'm going to say New Mutants 98. I think, if I remember correctly, last time I checked, there are 9 9.9s on the census. There are a couple thousand 9.8s on the census.
Sure.
And CGC's been grading for over 20 years at this point. If a year from now, there's 15 9.9s on the census, I'm going to say that's a huge problem, because that means that they're being more lenient. They're taking this 9.9 thing and they're being more lenient and giving more of them out. Now, if we see very few of them come back for books other than those square bound books, other than those foil cardstock covers and stuff like that, then sure, if that's your thing, if you want to submit those modern books and get the 9.9s and the 10s, go for it. But I'm worried that this is gonna potentially diminish the significance of a 9.8.
I agree. I absolutely. And it's almost like they're moving the criteria for a 9.8 over to 9.9 in a way, kind of split in the middle between a 9.8 and a 9.9. What distinguishes that between a 10? You know what I mean? Have they come out and said any of that?
Well, yeah, everything is listed. They have the, not only on their website, the listings of the specific criteria for each grade. They also have it really in depth in this book. And
you pushing it.
If you're someone who grades comic books, you're someone who sells comic books, I'm always going to recommend this book. And it is written by CGC's president, Matt Nelson. So if that's not something you want to support, that's your choice. I think this book is great. It's it's an inch thick, extremely comprehensive, all about grading, pictures available and stuff like that. And there is a difference between a 9.8, 9.9, and a 10. But like I said before, the 9.9 is so nuanced and opinion based that I'm just not for that.
That's what I was trying to say, and the words didn't come out. Now, let us know what your opinion is in the chat for the 9.8, 9.9, 10, and the news that they're going to pre-screen for 9.9. I just thought of something, Joe, and I want to get your thought on this. Has CGC become like a polarizing entity within the comic community at this point? Because look at, like, let's just go as far back as the pandemic, where everybody was rushing to get CGC 9.8 and etc. But now we're almost at a point where I'm seeing a lot of pushback against CGC.
So I think there has always been a divide in the community. I know that there's one comic shop in my area that the owner, I've never seen a CGC book in the store, a graded book at all in the store. And the owner will not, he refuses. He's an old school comic guy. He grades, based upon the criteria in Overstreet, and he lives by, these books should not be graded. which in a way I agree with. I agree that some books should be graded and some books shouldn't be graded. The people that are going out and buying books off the shelf and sending them to CGC, I think that's a little silly. But
Yeah.
if you have a golden age book that's, low grade deteriorating and you want to slab it up to protect it and preserve it and find out what grade it is, or if you want to, grade a book to sell it and be able to really get the best value out of it, CGC has a purpose.
I'm not disputing that at all.
Yeah. But, every step along the way, whenever something comes up like this, them raising their prices, which they've done multiple times in the last couple of years, the issues they had with quality control, where comics were getting put in slabs upside down, people were getting the wrong book back, even during just the height of the pandemic and stuff, when like their wait times were long. People are going to find something to complain about. It's true. It's the entitled American way,
You're right. You're right. Everybody has an opinion, and that's fair. Absolutely fair.
I think that CGC has value to this community. They provide a service. Is it a perfect service? No, it's based upon humans. Yeah. There's obviously going to be human error. And are they a company that's looking to make money? Yeah, absolutely. And that can also drive issues. Raising prices being one of them, and speeding up grading times and maybe making a ton of quality control issues. Those are all problems that any company that's trying to make money and is going to come across. But overall, I think that CGC is a net positive to comic books, and I think they're important going forward. And I think they're, in my opinion, a lot more trustworthy than a lot of the other companies, as far as like PGX and CBCS. Those two have had plenty of issues. CBCS is kind of that, good service that, right. Some people have chosen to go with because they don't want to support CGC. And this kind of leads us into like mentioning our sponsor, EGS. An up and coming grading service who we believe in, as far as a grading service, as well as, being for a specific type of collector that wants to customize the look of their collection. And honestly, that diversity in the market's important. Absolutely. CGC having the entire market is bad. That's not a good thing. So, if you want to try something else other than CGC, I don't recommend PGX. It will never be anything that I recommend. I don't honestly even recommend CBCS. I have a lot of problems with CBCS, particularly them losing people's books quite frequently. But yeah, anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. There's this, I don't like this whole 9.9 thing.
Okay, well, you love them, you hate them. CGC is definitely not going anywhere. That's for sure. And a few minutes back, I did say everybody does have an opinion on CGC, either way, except for your wife. I personally do not have an opinion on CGC, Jeff. Thank you for asking, because I did ask everybody, and that's the opinion she gave. So
that's great. Great opinion.
All right. Moving on. We have we have 2 little nuggets of news, but before we get there, I think we have some breaking news that Josh's Comics has just provided us with. Where is he? Hold on. Everybody hold on.
You should have started the comment, man.
Here we go. Cast. Yeah, I should have started the comment. Cast of Fantastic Four is reportedly locked. Expected announcement soon. So, Josh, while we move on to the next news segment, we want you to predict or even give us your insight as to who the members of the Fantastic Four will be. And Dr. Doom, please. Thank you very much. We can all start betting on that. Now, moving on, a few weeks ago, I think it was Raising Elm Comics did ask about a canon favorite, Joe. One that really moved the needle and helped us become the most popular YouTube show in the world. That is, everybody, the Canon discount card. That's right, Comic Book Canon's discount card. You get 50% off your purchase from your local comic book shop. It's participating stores only, and not everybody does participate. But what we want you to do is print this thing out, go to your comic book shop, and get 50% off of your books. It should work, right, Joe?
Well, it hasn't worked yet at any comic book shop, comic book show, comic book dealer that we have tried, but that doesn't mean that there aren't, people that accept this card out there. So fingers crossed, get a video of you. Even if you get rejected, kicked out of your comic store,
send it over to us. We actually, it's
beat up
important
in the
we get
back alley.
Yeah, it's important we get those videos because we got to start chasing down the people that do not accept this, because we are the most popular YouTube show in the world.
Yeah.
And we have a discount card that's not only going to help our audience, it's not only going to help us because, we're gaining, exposure from this because, oh, wow, I'm going to watch the show and get 50% off my books, but it's going to help the comic book shop, Joe, in many ways.
Yeah, I mean, if a comic book shop accepts it, we can talk about that comic book shop in a positive light. And our
100%.
current 21 million viewers right now would be hearing about, how XYZ comic shop is so great. And, you would think 21 million viewers hearing that probably translates to at least $300,000 in the next 6 minutes. I would think
easily.
online.
Oh God, I didn't know. I didn't know where you're going with that, but yeah, $300,000 in the next 6 minutes. I mean, you have a math brain. You do the algorithm in there, and it makes a lot of sense for sure. So everybody, get on it. There's actually a link below for this discount card for you to print out. Not even joking. Print it out. It's down there. The link is below. It's a Google Doc. It's no viruses, we promise. But yeah, there's no way your local comic shop should not be accepting this discount card weekly. All right, here we go, Josh. Has he gotten back to us? At the next
Josh has not said anything about his prediction on the Fantastic Four team.
Josh, come on, man.
He's gonna try to next back that Comic Fest. I'm sorry. It turns out the comic book canon card, it doesn't work outdoors. So
it is in the fine print that it does not work outdoors.
Yeah. Something about issues with hawks coming in and taking it.
I mean, Joe, let's just say it. We didn't want it to be this specific, but it is. It's just brick and mortar shops.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like, it does not apply to like Whatnot. It does not apply to your claim sales. It is strictly brick and mortar shops. Help your local comic shop. Thank you, Dr. Plagueis. Again, let them know how much it's going to help them. Speaking of, Justin, you just missed this whole news segment that had everything to do with you because you asked where this went right here. And that's the discount card right there. The link is below. Take it to your local comic book shop and get your 50% off with this comic book canon discount card. The link is down below.
Before we go off this topic, I do just want to tell a quick story. My comic book canon card, when I filmed the video, which we Jeff and I each tried to use it. We filmed the video. We both got yelled at by our LCS. We tried our best. I taped mine to my driver's license. Shortly thereafter, I got pulled over for speeding. And when the cop asked for my license, I pulled it out and gave it to him. He goes, what's this? And I was like, oh, that was a joke. That was a joke that I had. And I had to sit there and pick the tape off and tear it off and give the guy my license. I felt dumb.
But that's a great story though, by the way. And it impacted his life, and he now knows about the comic book canon discount card. So everybody go use it for sure. By the way, we do have Josh's predictions right here, everybody. Ryan Gosling is in talks for Nova. That's hot news right there, off the press. I would love to see. He would be awesome as Richard Rider.
I love Ryan Gosling.
Huh?
I love Ryan Gosling.
He's great. He's great. Obviously, we know they've never officially announced it, but Fantastic Four here. Reed Richards, Pedro Pascal. He's saying Sue Storm, Vanessa Kirby. I've heard that as well. But basically, Josh is the Adam Schefter of comic book movies and TV shows. Am I right?
True.
So I could see him there with 5 different phones. We got to get him on a segment. We do. And then I guess we need Johnny. Oh, here we go. Ben. Ebon Moss Bachrach. I don't know who that is.
Oh, he's that guy.
Right.
He just won. Did he just win an Emmy or something?
What's that?
Or not an Emmy. He won an Oscar or something. I don't remember.
And then here we go. Ben Grimm, Alan Richson. Don't know who that is either.
Uh,
And here
that-
we go.
Isn't Alan Richson the dude who played? He played Hawk from Hawk and Dove in
No,
Titans.
that's the dude from Preacher.
What?
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
He played Hawk, and he played Aquaman in on Smallville or something.
Oh no. Reacher. I said you're right, Reacher. I said Preacher.
Yo, I said either Joseph Quinn or the other dude, Darcy Montgomery, from Stranger Things.
Mhm.
Either of those Stranger Things guys.
Yeah.
Either one of them would be a great Johnny.
This is wrong, Brandon. This is why you are not the Adam Schefter of the comic book world. That is terrible. And Ebon was
it's a joke because you can't see him.
Oh, yo, we have another joke too, by the way. Pedro Pascal seems like a stretch. Get it?
Oh, I get it.
Get it?
I get it.
All right, here we go. Okay, we're gonna move on from this topic right here because we have one more piece of news. One more. Keep it going, people. Who you want for Fantastic Forecasting? Keep it going. It just helps us with the algorithm. Keep subscribe, and keep commenting because we are the most popular YouTube show in the world. All right, tournament bracket time, everybody. Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be the battles. You all are going to be battling for those of you in the tournament. That's right. We have an A bracket and a B bracket this week and next week, and we're going to announce those right now. Boom, right there. Bracket A will be C to the G with that amazing X-Men smorgasbord of stuff. And Josh's Comics 01 with the Batman submission. This is going to be a tough battle, Joe. This is going to be a tough battle.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm very excited for it. So that's Tuesday, everybody. Tuesday. And then Thursday will be, we have Nori Jordan versus Raising Elm Comics. That's going to be a battle as well, for sure. So exciting stuff. Be on the lookout. We are going to put this on our Instagram. You will vote in our stories as you do for the Fresh from the Comic Shop regular monthly giveaways. And we will make sure to post in Instagram saying it's up, go vote, and please do, because numbers count.
They do.
You have to count the numbers, and they also count.
True, for seeding.
Anyway, so that's the tournament bracket right there. Joe, right there ends the news. So what are we going to do right now? It's going to be, hello, you fine people out there in the audience. Take the second verse. Take the second.
Beautiful.
Take the second verse. That was all off the top.
I don't know. Did you make that up off the top?
I just made it up.
Hello to everyone in the world
out there. We're here to say hello to people like you and me
in the comic book community.
Damn, Joe, we are very good.
That was off. We did not rehearse that.
They're not going to believe that.
Completely freestyled, and you all were in for a treat.
Honestly, we're going to have to claim the rights to that as well. Get in the studio later tonight. I'm driving down to Philly. Moving on, we got Josh's Comics in the house. Raising Elm wants Andrew Lincoln as Reed Richards. I never thought of that, but I think that is outstanding. Goonish Lurker. I think you're onto something, Raising Elm. We got the Pope of Chillytown saying Joseph Quinn would be fire. We got the Collector Without Fear.
That's another pun.
That's good. It's good. No, we got the Collector Without Fear with the John Cena right there. Brendan Riley. We got somebody. Yo, you better watch your wife. She's in love with Mr. Pedro Pascal. Who else do we have? Who else? We got Bond. Paul Bond. That's good. That's very good. 18 million people of you watching us. We got Immortal Scruffy. I can get that in Canada. I don't know what you're referring to, but Dr. Plagueis is going to be going and making sure he takes advantage of this comic book Canon discount card. You find the link down below. T-Shoe is laughing. He's got tears in his eyes. He's laughing so hard, according to that emoji right there. We got Eggplant Comics. Correct. As long as CBCS does not lose your books, it's a great product. Who else do we have? What else? Who else is here? Come on, guys. Say hello. Say hello. It feeds our egos. Really, we are very important people. Nukes Comics calling the James Gunniverse.
Gunniverse.
Can we go Gunverse instead of the Gunniverse? I guess Universe. Yeah, that works, I guess. You're right. Okay, that works. I'm good. Moving on. Frost Behemoth. Evening, y'all. Yo, you're in Colorado. What is the weather there? My lady, the love of my life, Alicia Jardine. Do you remember the time you took her to, or we took her to get cheesesteaks?
I do remember that.
She loved it.
I was actually there.
Her first, well, that's why I said you and I. Her first cheesesteak. Hey, comic fans, how's it going? Who else do we have? Who else? You guys are all wonderful, and we love you all. I think we've hit everybody here. Am I right?
I believe so.
360 in the house. Oh, we did
What a
not hit
guy.
up Heroes Reborn, who had a whole diatribe of stuff.
He was just talking to himself half an hour before the show started.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Yes, the discount card does work in Canada. So please, again, if any of you have any issues with this discount card, record your local comic book shop saying that they are not accepting it, then ask them why. Honestly, that's what the cameras are there for, to protect you. I think. All right. So, as we've just said hello to all you fine people, say hello to us as well by asking Joe and Jeff a question. And we are going to answer. Joe and Jeff will answer said question. And it's going to be just a big topic. It's going to be a fun discussion. And it's going to be a bunch of community stuff. By the way, it's a bit chilly in Colorado today, but not too bad. All right. But before we get into that, we have an On the Hunt for our Adam Schefter of the canon. Can we all just agree to this, please? That Josh's Comics is the Adam Schefter of comic book canon. Are we
Agreed.
all agreed?
Sure. I'm in.
Shelby, we need your okay for this too, please. Thank you very much. Do you think she has to look up who Adam
She's
Schefter is?
Googling who Adam Schefter is right now. Yeah.
But while we wait, let's check out our Adam Schefter of comic book canon on the hunt.
Josh's Comics here, traveling up to Pennsylvania for the first Philadelphia Comic Con of 2024. They do multiple events a year. I went diving in the $5 bins and under and found some great stuff. Mostly Batman keys, spread in with a few Avenger keys and different Marvel and DC books. Books from the Hush run to first and second appearances. Some nice variants in here. Superman Batman 8 reintroduction of Supergirl, and we also have the last issue where Lois Lane finds out that Clark Kent is Superman.
And that's all we want to see with On the Hunt. Just show us. Show us
Dude.
what you're up to. Show us what you got. Show us how much fun you had. Am I right, Joe?
I'm pretty sure that Josh took Dr. Plagueis's masterclass on how to make an On the Hunt video, because that was primo right there.
Absolutely. We can all admit that Dr. Plagueis did kind of set the template, and all y'all are following that template, and we appreciate that because it's very good. So here we are. One of the favorite segments that we do have in the show, even though there's only one question, and it's from the Adam Schefter of comic book canon. I mean, we should. Wait, time out. Because we have the segment coming up. We have to introduce it in a certain way. Am I right, Joe?
We do. You have to do it. You have to do it.
Because it's music to y'all's ears. And this is not us freestyling with the song that we just sang about saying hello to the audience. This is about Ask Joe and Jeff.
Ask Joe and Jeff.
It's true. Me too.
And Jeff.
Me too. Thank you, everybody, for asking me a question. Let's get into it right now. Ask Joe CBC and Jeff too. If you can go back in time and choose only one comic to bring back to the present time for your collection, what would you choose?
Oh man,
I got this.
Mine is easy. I immediately knew what book I was picking. And I know it's pretty cliche to just pick this book. Not as cliche as an Action 1, but Detective 27 would be my book. First Batman, absolutely timeless classic. One of the, the holiest of holy grails as far as comic books go. Really, really the only holds a second candle to Action 1. And in my opinion, it should be worth more than Action 1. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I would get a Tech 27 right off the shelf, minty fresh.
Oh God.
Put that thing in a paper bag and transport it to the future.
Because they don't have minty fresh back in. I don't know why I'm finding this so funny. Yeah. By the way, the reason I think Action Comics is more money, I mean, globally, I think Batman is more popular than Superman. I really do.
Way more popular.
But here's the deal: Superman set we talked about templates. Superman set the template of what a superhero is, right?
Mm.
That's so Superman kind of paved the way. So that, on top of him being quite popular as well, I would say there's a reason for Action being more money than Detective. Now, as for me, what would I pick up if I could go back in time? I would be picking up Amazing Fantasy number 15. No brainer for me. I love Spider-Man. As you can see, my Tribe Called Quest, Amazing Spider-Man number 1 homage that Joe gave to me, and I love this book. I would absolutely go back in time and pick up Amazing Fantasy 15. That character means so much to me, and having that book in my collection would be amazing. What came to mind, Joe, when you said you would go to the bookstore, because there was no comic book shops back then, I just wanted to know what you dress up as. Would you be wearing the two-piece suit, kind of gangster style? Isn't that what they wore back then? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I would have maybe like a three-piece suit, but like without the jacket, like the vest,
Right.
Just the vest, and in the vest pocket, I'd probably have a pocket watch attached to a chain. And
Yes!
I could be like, got this comic. Oh, look at the time. I must go. I need to oil my cattle or something. I don't know.
Oh
What
my
did they do
God.
back then?
Absolutely. Okay. I guess I
People
would be
talk
wearing.
back then. I would do whatever,
Right.
What's that like accent? It's like,
I don't think they. Well,
yeah, it's like a transcontinental accent.
or
Is that
you
what it's
could be
called?
like, see here, give me one of them Detective
one of them
Comics
comic books.
over there. One of the funny books you got there.
Give me that one with the man who looks like a bat.
I want all of your copies.
It's a yellow cover. Yeah, it's a yellow, bright. It's very bright. I love it.
I can't miss it. Here's a nickel. Go have yourself a beer. Yeah, that's what I would get. Anyways, I would probably have to wear. What would they wear in the early 60s? I guess polyester.
Drugs.
No, early 60s are not the hippie days. This is a great question, by the way.
I don't know. I wasn't alive.
I wasn't either, but hippie-ish. Don't give me that lie. You get out of here, please. Don't even. No, don't even. But the hippie era, if you would pay attention to anything cultural, in terms of history of our pop culture, that's the late 60s.
Okay.
So early 60s would be like people with like I guess flat top crew haircuts or whatever. And yeah, I'd probably want to wear a skinny tie and dark suit. Polyester. Anyways,
okay.
All right, moving on. What's the next question we have?
We have a lot of questions that popped up.
This is great, but let us know what you all would get if you go back in time to pick up any key book. Maybe it's not key. All right, here we go. Ask Joe and Jeff. I know your Eagles are out of the playoffs, but I was curious to know if there are any teams left you'd like to see win the championship. See, I like this. People getting to know us a little bit more, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, my backup team is the Baltimore Ravens. So, sure.
Yeah,
that's for the Ravens.
Very good for your backup team, I'd have to say.
Yeah, they totally have a chance.
They beat the 49ers too earlier in the season. They crushed them in San Francisco. I got to say, Joe, and I think you feel this way too, but when any sort of Philadelphia team gets that far or has high hopes early in the season and they ended the way that they did, it's crushing and it's hard for me to pay attention to like the NFL. So I usually go, I'm starting to get back into the Sixers now, who are doing really well. The Flyers are doing surprisingly well. So
Flyers, yeah.
for me to like, I would say the Ravens too. I could go for the Ravens. I can't go for the Niners. I absolutely can't. And like, I don't really care about the Bills or the Chiefs that much. Andy Reid, I guess. I do like Andy Reid, but
yeah. As
but
far
he's
as
won
like
2
personal connection, it definitely would be the Chiefs. Being a huge Taylor Swift fan and all. But yeah, I mean, my backup team has always been the Ravens since I was a kid.
yeah, I could do that. So we just decided Ravens. So go Ravens. Moving on, we got Nowhere Bound 86. Hello. What is the most valuable book in your collection? Joe, would you like to go first?
Yeah. This is a tough one because I have some books that aren't graded that I think once they are graded might take the throne. I think as far as stuff that I have right now, I have a graded Daredevil 1. That's I think it's a 4.5. I have a Phantom Lady 22. That's 4.0.
You recently got that too, right?
I did, yeah. I got that from
you had that for Fresh from the Comic Shop.
Paul Bond, yeah.
Yeah.
And then but I have the second appearance of Two-Face, which is his first cover appearance ever. It's Detective Comics 68. That probably will be the most expensive once I get it graded. It's really, really nice. So that probably, I'm not 100% sure on the grade. So it's going to either fall slightly below those other books or slightly above those other books, depending on the actual grade.
Okay. You got me beat as you usually do. But I don't really go to, I think my most expensive book, I love Cover Price, by the way, because it keeps track of these. I have a 9.8 CBCS of New Mutants 98.
Oh yeah.
The crazy thing is I got that off the rack.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was a 9.8. I kept it all those years.
Wow.
Yeah, that was really shocking. So that's probably my most
1991. So you were like 38 in 91.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Enjoy it while you can. Actually, honestly, man, people think you're older than me. Let's be honest.
I'm not older than you.
No, people think it though. Moving on though. So that's our most valuable books right there. Good question right there. Ask Joe and Jeff, what is your favorite story arc in comics? So hard.
All right.
I think I have one.
What we're going to do?
Yeah.
We're going to break this down.
Go for it.
We're going to do Marvel, DC, and Indie.
Oh, shit.
I'll go first.
God.
I'm gonna go with my DC first, and that is Batman Hush. Batman 608 to 619. Is that where it ends? I forget. Anyway, Batman Hush is my favorite DC run of comics. 12 issues. 12? I'm like not remembering now. I'm talking about it might being my favorite. And I'm like, where does that end? How many issues is that? Batman Hush. I always recommend that to people. When they're like, hey, what do I want to get into? What do I want to read? Batman Hush. That's it.
Okay. I'm gonna go Marvel right now. And I'm gonna go Kraven's Last Hunt.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's some good, like, deep content. Very, very deep content.
Because you could read it, like when I read it as a kid, it wasn't like the subtext. I didn't know that. You know what I mean? I didn't understand. I just read it at face value that this was happening. But
yeah,
you read it as an adult, and it's like, holy, this is so intricate and nuanced, and it's just an outstanding read. So I guess it's your turn. You're either going to do Indie or Marvel.
Well, no one's done Indie yet, so I'll do Indie, and that is Witches by Scott Snyder with art by Jock. There's only been one volume and a one shot so far. They've been promising us volume 2. There is a show coming out on Amazon Prime, which I'm very excited about. They're working on it right now, so that they're aiming for October of this year. So expect to possibly see me get very excited with announcements over the next couple months. But yeah, Witches, Wytches. And I just bought a collection with 5 copies of issue number 1 in it, so I'm very excited about that.
So you're very happy about that.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go DC, and I'm gonna say it's actually around the time period of Hush. I would say it is Blackest Night.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I love Blackest Night. I thought that brought in this whole Jeff Johns brought in this whole new angle, and also I did read a few of the tie-ins, but I was pretty much straight up reading all of the I can't remember. I think it was like 12 issues. I really enjoyed it.
7 issues.
7 issues. I can't remember. It was like 2007 or 2008, I think.
2009.
2009. Yeah. I really enjoyed that. By the way, y'all should be telling us what your favorite runs are too. Joe, so you have to say a Marvel one, and I have to come up with it.
Marvel one. This is actually an interesting one because it's only 2 issues, but it's Days of Future Past. Chris Claremont is the absolute king of comic book writing. Those books, even more so than the Frank Miller Daredevil run, and quintessential Spidey stuff, which there's a whole lot of. That 2-issue arc is chef's kiss,
and it's so impactful for only 2 issues. You know what I mean? Like, so impactful that really that had a long lasting impact in terms of just an innovative way to write about these characters too. So I'm on there here. So my indie, this is really tough for me because
no, it's not. Get out of here.
I don't want to say it.
You're gonna say it.
I am gonna say it because I love but it's too early to say it. I've been loving Void Rivals in the Energon universe. There, I said it. So there we go. We picked 3. Am I right?
Hi, my name is Jeff, and I'm a Void Rivals-aholic.
Yeah, I absolutely am. I
Hi,
Jeff. I counted all the Void Rivals issues I do have, and you would not be surprised. Oh, we're gonna move on to Nukes. What's up, Nukes? Ask Joe CBC, what comic book series would you like to write a story arc for, and what would it be about? Wow, I love that. Yeah. By the way, Dr. Plague is called the Void Rivals. Yeah.
Yep. My favorite character is Nightcrawler. It'd be cool to do like a Nightcrawler miniseries. There have been a ton of them, whether a miniseries or just a short ongoing run. There've been a lot of them, and most of them are really, really good. But yeah, I could do something different with the character. Might be fun. So yeah, we'll go with Nightcrawler.
This is something that I've not thought about ever, really, because I don't consider myself a writer, even though I am. What would I want to write? Who would I want? You know what I'm enjoying? Well, I'm loving, by the way, was it Ghost Machines coming out this week? I'm loving Geiger. I really am enjoying it. I'd love to write a Geiger story, like just a one shot.
I bought and read the first 6 issues, which was like, I guess shortly, like kind of during the later stages of pandemic era, I think, like when stores kind of first opened back up. That was like one of the first books that I picked up off the shelf. So I liked the first 6 issues, but I didn't really continue with it. But yeah, glad to hear that you're still liking it.
Oh yeah, they had a one shot that came out as well. Then there's I can't remember the robot's name, but he had a spin-off. But they're creating this shared universe. Some people are saying this is as big as like the start of Image Comics, which is probably their marketing ploy. But I'm excited about it. I love Jeff Johns. I love Gary Frank. Yeah. Gary Frank's art. Gary Frank had a major impact in terms of the Superman origin story that he did probably 2010. Artwork is stunning. Anyways, we're gonna move on. That's a great question there, Nukes. Brendan asked Joe and Jeff too. Calvin and Hobbes. Which one of you is Calvin and which one is Hobbes?
That's a tough one.
That really is tough. I remember reading. Well, so Calvin's the one that pees all over the place, or you see people like with the bumper stickers that are peeing on teams that you hate.
Yeah, that would be Calvin. Yeah. Is that so? That's you, right?
I'll take Calvin.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll take Hobbs.
I mean, Brennan, what do you think?
Doesn't
Let
Hobbs
us.
not talk though? I feel like I'm way too loud.
You're
I feel
timid.
like we're
timid.
both Calvin here.
I'll pee on somebody or something. Easily.
Oh, okay, cool.
You're timid.
Yeah, can't wait to get kicked off YouTube now.
Yeah, actually, that was probably inappropriate. That's not what I meant. All right, we're gonna give you one more chance to by the way, to ask Joe, CBC, and Jeff too. A question, but I do want to say Raw Dog loves some Geiger as well. And again, Dr. Plagueis, you know me oh so well. And what does this mean? My favorite runs are sriracha fueled ramen. I read it as women, sriracha fueled women, but now I understand that. That is spicy. Mark, well done. Oh, we do have another question, don't we?
There are two more questions.
Oh, my bad. Hey, Joe. Jeff. What's the next big thing?
It's tough to say. I think there's some potential for pulps. CGC is going to start grading pulps, and that is kind of something that definitely has brought out a lot of interest since they announced that they're going to be doing that. Now, last I heard, Paul actually updated me on this. He said in November, they said they were going to start grading pulps in December.
Right.
And now it's January and they have not started accepting them yet. They've got a lot on their hands right now. So I would assume sometime in the first quarter, it's going to probably happen, or at least we'll get an announcement. There's some potential for them. They're older, they're scarcer, which, anytime there's a collectible, scarcity is a major factor in value and even desirability. So yeah, I mean, pulps definitely have, and I'm saying this as someone who owns 0 pulps and really doesn't have interest in it. I'm not saying this to try to get anyone to go buy pulps or, increase the value of pulps. I just think that there's some, potential value in there. Just be careful if that is something that you're looking to get into, because anytime like a new market, like especially a new graded market comes to relevance, prices go crazy and then often settle down. Just supply and demand. When the first batch of when the first batch of video games got graded, over the last, whenever they started grading video games, like 10 years, I guess, the prices went crazy, especially during like the pandemic and stuff like that. CGC started grading video games, and a lot of people were left holding the bag. Video games were selling for over $1 million, and then a year later we're selling for like 50,000, 100,000, like a fraction of what they were selling for previously. So just be careful. Anytime there's a new market, there's no stability in the pricing. Wait it out.
I have an answer. However, Tishu said wrong. It's the discount card from the Canon. That is right. I'll make sure you send your discount card. The link is down below. Stop by your local comic shop. Make sure you get 50% off of your books. Videotape. Jesus, what are we in the VCR era? Make sure you shoot this on your phone if anybody's giving you any pushback. Thank you very much, Tishu, for that plug. I'll tell you what, speaking of shameless plugs, the next big thing is, other than Joe's claim sales, which you all should be participating in, even if you're not going to buy anything, he enjoys it, right? He enjoys it. But I'll tell you what, it's all y'all becoming rebel nerds. Am I right, Joe?
Oh, yeah.
Comic nerds, geek out is the next big thing. Link is down below. This is a shameless plug. I hate doing this, but I got to send my daughter to college. I like digging long. I dig long boxes, and you should too. So again, comicnerdsgeekout.com. The link is down below. I'm embarrassed. Moving on, we got Josh's question right here. If the number of 9.9 comics increases, does that mean graded 9.8 will decrease in value?
If it increases so significantly, if in the next year there are books that there were no 9.9s and now there's suddenly 20 on the census, or if the number, of 9.9s goes from 15 to 150 or something like that. There's a significant change. If one or two or five or even 10 pop up here or there, it's not really going to affect it. It's I don't think so. I don't think 9.9 is going to be the new 9.8. That's just silly because most books there aren't 9.9s, and CGC, by grading significantly different, is shooting themselves in the foot. It is just bad for them as a company, and it's bad for comics in general. So I can't see them doing it.
I like Mark Leneker, what he says here. I think the only 9.8s taking a substantial hit will be modern 9.8s or any books with huge 9.8 population.
Agreed.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I don't think it's a huge dynamic in terms of change, but it's going to be something to watch. And Joe, I don't know what is your prediction? Did you give a flat out prediction? What do you predict?
My flat out prediction is that there's not going to be a significant change in the value of 9.8s because there's not going to be a big enough increase in 9.9s.
Right. And another good point on the flip side, also 9.9s will take a hit from the high percentage value over 9.8s.
And that's another thing. The books that are going to take a hit are modern books that I don't care about. Modern square bounds, foil exclusives, cardstock cover books that I just, it's not my game. I love reading modern books, but I'm not looking to quote unquote invest or spec on modern books. That's not really my thing. I like the oldies.
It's a safer bet too, by the way. And right there, Joe, I gotta say, that ends one of our favorite segments, and it's called Ask Joe. It is.
And Jeff.
Ask Joe. And Jeff.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad we have that now, the choir that we hired, because it took a lot out of us to sing that theme song right there.
Yes. Yeah. It's a nice little break. I can take a sip of water.
Water for sure. What's up, Miguel Poole? How are you doing?
Hello, Miguel. What's up, man?
And we got Bronzeville Comics, aka Jim in the house, who has a prediction. My prediction, YouTubers will talk about it a lot. People will make memes. Folks will wring their hands, and then nothing will happen. I like that.
Agreed. Yeah, it's usually the get out the pitchforks. My arm's getting tired. Throw the pitchfork down. That's how it typically is.
100%. All right. So y'all saw Chet in the Himalayas. He's been waiting patiently right now to give you all his new comic book day picks of the week. So why don't we just check it out, shall we?
Ahoy, ice dorks. Chet's back from the mountaintop, snowboarding on brainwaves and bringing you 3 comic avalanches to melt your frozen faces. First up, Batman, the Brave and the Bold #9. It's Batsy versus Clowny in a showdown so epic the Himalayas are whispering damn. Aquaman tames some fishy fury, and Wild Dog unleashes his inner snow leopard. It's a pricey peak at $8. But hey, Premium Bat Justice deserves a Sherpa, right? Next, Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man, $20.99, #4. Forget your friendly neighborhood Spidey. This guy's a web-slinging comet ripping through neon futurescapes and giving high fives to Yedis. Terror Incorporated goes haywire. Body parts flying like snowflakes in a blizzard. This Spidey smackdown is hotter than a yak's breath after a chili cook-off. Finally, Ghost Machine #1. Ditch the big 2. It's time for something new, weird, and maybe a little Yeti-fied. Ghost Machine's launching a whole universe of heroes, from steam-powered warriors to time-hopping families. Think Jules Verne meets a Yeti rave on an astral plane? It's a gamble, sure, but Chet's all about carving fresh tracks, baby. So go forth, ice dorks, snag these comics, and bask in the glow of my superior taste. Just remember, if you see a sun-kissed dude in a Speedo shredding mountains with his mind and debating plot twists with a penguin, that's just me. Don't judge. Just admire the tan and grab Ghost Machine. It's gonna be abominable. Get out.
That sign off gets weirder every time.
It really does. Two things I want to comment on with those his picks. Did you notice the 2099 cover? It's the homage to Spider-Man holding that. What issue is that, Joe? You know what I'm talking about? It's Silver Age.
Hulk annual one.
No.
Oh, you're talking about Spider-Man. I honestly, I was checking my DMs during that, but you're talking about ASM 33.
Yes. So that's
Okay.
a very cool homage cover. Second, I am very excited for the Ghost Machine. That's one I'm super excited to pick up and read immediately when it comes out this Wednesday. So nice picks, Chet. Good job, man. And hope you he's living the healthy lifestyle, and I'm very appreciative of that. I have to say, I have some breaking news. My girlfriend just texted me and said she wants to see the back of the t-shirt. She wants me to show the back of the t-shirt. So
oh yeah,
I dig long boxes, and on the back is the CNGO Rebel.
Oh, look at that logo.
Are you talking about my lats?
No, I wasn't talking about your lats.
All right,
Well,
well,
lack thereof.
Alicia, let me know if there's anything else I need to push. She's like my marketing manager, so she's laughing right now. Anyways, moving on to a segment y'all know and love. The one thing I should have worked on this week, all this stuff that I did. What did I not do, Joe?
You didn't give us an intro to the next segment?
No!
That's okay. I'll do it.
This is absolute trash right here, dude. This is no timeout. We never had a singing intro to this.
I wasn't going to sing.
You were just clearing your throat for some reason.
Yeah, because I was going to do a cool voice.
I'm just mad at myself because I did some stuff this week, and this should have been priority. But anyways, it's just trash, guys. We have 22 million people watching us. We have our CMO on, right? Our chief marketing officer in Alicia, who says we got to get this brand shit right. And this is what we show. And I'm just failing everybody. But go ahead, Joe. What's the next segment? What are we doing?
From the depths of the Amazon rainforest comes to you, provided by Comic Book Canon, the greatest YouTube channel of all time that's on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. The segment. I forgot the name. Wait, hold on. Fresh from the Comic Shop! Ba, ba, da, ba.
That was so good. I'm like mesmerized. Fly from the pressing salon. That's right. We ask you, the audience, each and every week to give us your fresh gets, and you never disappoint. Sending us your fresh gets. They could be 2 days old. They could be 20 years old. As long as they're fresh in your collection, we want to see them. That's right. Not only can you submit and have it on the show, the most popular YouTube show of all time, but you can win a fabulous monthly prize, which then translates into a fabulous prize for the year. You're automatically submitted in that if you win the grand prize of the month. So send us in your fresh gets. Let us know what you think. This segment is sponsored by two wonderful companies in Spider Dude Comics, who provides the books, and EGS Comics, who slabs them. Now, EGS is a very unique grading service that you don't see anything out there like it. They have custom labels, with actually their custom slabs because they're proprietary cases. They are both fantastic companies, and we are so honored to have them as a part of this. Why don't we just talk real quick about that? This is another thing I need to rebrand. Woo! EGS Comics right here. Save 5% off your EGS order using the code Canon5. Again, optional custom labels, free grader dose, and fast turnaround times. Listen, we've said this before, but Tony does a fantastic job. He's the president of EGS. He is part of this community as well. It is a small business. Support your local business as well as good people, because he's one of the best. He's one of the best. So when submitting, and if you are very serious about winning the monthly prize, which, you know what, screw it, let's just show it right now. This month is this is one of the best books I've seen from them, by the way. It looks gorgeous. Right here is January book of the month is Batman and the Joker, the Deadly Duo, #1, the Greg Capullo variant. As you can see, that orange is it just like flows in from the top of that cover. That beautiful Greg Capullo cover. Joe, I love it. Do you?
I do love it. And I certainly love that custom label. And if you look closely, it's small on my screen, but I can see it, that little Joker face up there. Another kind of customizable aspect of this. You can put, a character, an emblem or something like that. Just talk to our guy Tony over at EGS and he can help you out.
Yeah, for sure. Again, look at the custom label. Not only the color, you see the Joker emblem there in the middle. I just love it. Love what they do. And by the way, this is funny. T-Shoe, he wanted to see my underwear. And then Alicia, nice. No way, that's for my eyes only. Good stuff. And then T-Shoe, lucky you.
Lucky you.
Moving on. I love it, man. I'm a wanted man. All right. So anyways, we have 3 criteria that we look for you all to move on to the semifinals, which you vote for on Instagram. That's right. You, the audience, vote to see who wins in the semifinals. And by the way, let's just get into it right now. We did have a semifinals last week, and it was Raising Elm, aka Justin, versus Scruffy Comics. Raising Elm won over Scruffy, 53% to 47 in the vote. I can't remember what the tally was, but that will be important at the end of the year. Just want to let you know. So get as many friends as you can to vote. What's that?
Yeah, that was a close one.
It was a close one right there for sure. So we have Justin, aka Raising Elm, who was a winner last year, moving on to the finals for the month of January. Joe, we look for 3 criteria in terms of these submissions to move on. The first criteria is presentation. Don't just take a picture of this in your bathtub or on your kitchen counter or on your dirty bed sheets. Nobody wants to see that. Think outside the box, get creative, get artistic, have the overall picture relate to the actual book, right? A perfect example of somebody that does that very well is Justin, who is moving on to the January finals. He always finds some way to relate that to the book, and that's what we ask of you. It is not too much to ask for, is it, Joe?
It's not. It's really not.
But we have but we have other criteria as well, and the second one is
we want something that is unique. And unique, it doesn't mean that it's $30,000. It could be $30 or 30 cents, or it could be $30,000 if you want it to be. I don't have that deep pockets, but anyway, we want to see something that maybe we haven't seen before. Something about your pick. Should stick out to us, make us scratch our head, make us say, wow, make us say, I've never seen that before. Whatever it may be to make it unique is good with us.
Absolutely. And finally, pull at our heartstrings with this, guys. Tell us a story. How does this book relate to your past, your passion, the start of you getting into this wonderful hobby? It could be as simple as you were 8 years old in 1989. I think the Niners were good back then. They were in lots of Super Bowls. And your parents, Joe, had a Super Bowl party, right? And it was you and your little brother, Stevie. And you're sitting there reading your X-Men book right there because X-Men were hot. Wolverine right there. I don't know. It's the Frank Miller Wolverine, #1. And you're sitting there reading, watching the game too. I mean, you're an Eagles fan, obviously, but you're interested in it. It's a big Super Bowl party. And you got the chicken or the carne con queso. That's meat with cheese dip right there, sitting there in front of there. And you just want to go in there and get some, right? You got the book right here. You just want to go in and get some. And little Stevie, what does he do? He says, nah, the cheese is mine. The cheese is mine. And he smacks that bowl of carne con queso, and it goes right onto your Wolverine #1 book. Right onto it. What are you going to do with a book that has like cheese dip in the middle of the book? The whole bowl of cheese dip, Joe. What are you going to do with that?
I'm going to have to throw it away.
You're going to have to throw it away. You can't get that graded at CGC these days.
You could.
That's disgusting, Joe. That is absolutely disgusting. But here we are. What? 25 years later, literally 25 years later. What are you right now?
25. You said 1989. That's
35 years later.
34 years. Yeah, 35 years ago.
35 years later. What are you right now?
How old am I?
What are you? You're an adult and you have a job.
I'm an adult.
And you can pay for that Wolverine #1, that little Stevie, your little brother, your little brother. You want to wring his neck out for dropping that chili dip on, that cheese dip on your book. and you buy that Wolverine #1 with the Frank Miller cover.
Yeah, the only problem is I wasn't even born in
I don't care.
1989.
I wasn't saying it was you.
You said you addressed me
It was
several
the
times.
royal we.
Okay, gotcha.
Something.
Yeah,
Like
let's get into it.
and you buy the book, and that is a great story. It's pulling out our heartstrings because you searched for that book and bought it when you could. So, anyways, that's the type of stuff we're looking for, I think. So we're just gonna get this started here with a wonderful, wonderful human being who puts comic books in mailboxes, I think, by the name of, here we go, Goonish Lurker. A couple weeks back, my brother and I went to see The Iron Claw, which is a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it yet, by the way, Joe, I do want to watch that movie. I didn't know the story of the Von Erichs in full, but growing up watching a lot of wrestling, I knew the name. Then I saw Jim Ruggart had done a short in Sean Duncan's The Von Erichs zine for Act 24 for the film, which is packed full of photos and info from the Von Erichs legacy. I even got a signed print of Kevin Von Erich, whom was portrayed by Zac Efron. I wanted to showcase the zine with a couple wrestling action figures I picked up for this post. Hope you all enjoy. That right there is a great story because it takes you to the past. You're watching this movie with your brother. You are a fan of wrestling as well. I love this. I should have actually included what's inside the book because it is a comic book format. So it's a nice pickup right there. Good job, Goonish Lurker. I like that book, Joe. Moving on, we got, by the way, well done on everybody for these submissions. We got a lot more submissions this week. I'll tell you what, it doesn't make our jobs any easier, but we appreciate it. Mark Lineker is up. JLA number 75, the first Silver Age Black Canary, first appearance of her Canary Cry Sonic Power, and second appearance of Green Arrow's new costume. Black Canary has been around since the late 40s and has had her origin rebooted several times. Any of you geezers remember her TV debut on the live-action Legends of the Superheroes? Joe, I could say I do not, so that does not make me a geezer.
No.
Thank you.
You kind of are.
Not at all in the least bit, but I would like to see your first fresh get of the week. Can we do that?
My first fresh get of the week. So I actually, this is the first week in a while that this has happened. I did not buy a single comic book collection this week. I did go to a comic show this morning, though. It's called Philly Comic Con. It's every couple months. I think there's like 3 or 4 a year, right near the Philadelphia airport. A lot of people around here just call it the airport show. And I went down Popachilli Town and met up with Josh's Comics, Paul Bond, and Collecting Dude. We had a good time. But yeah, I got some books. 2 big ones and a nice dollar bin find. I'll show off one of the big ones first.
Of course,
because it kind of relates to something we talked about very recently. I think last week or the week before on Ask Joe, someone asked about books that we want to get in 2024. And I keep saying this one. I've been saying it for the last couple years. And I finally got one.
Yeah.
Man, number 13. Now, I will not be keeping this copy in my personal collection.
Interesting.
This one, I'm going to read it. I'm very excited to read this book because I've actually never read this story. Not only that, but like I've never owned a copy ever. At least I can't remember ever owning a copy of this book. But yeah, it's my favorite Spider-Man villain. And it's a book that I've kind of been hunting for the last couple of years. But like I said before, it's never come to fruition. I've never found one in a collection. I've never found one for the right grade, right price at the time that I was, searching for it. So I finally got this one. Now, this one is actually incomplete. There is a coupon clipped from an ad page. Fortunately, it doesn't affect story, but I got this really cheap. This is a major ASM key. I got this for $200. Which for a book like this, a early ASM first appearance of a major character, even at a 0.5, $200 is a solid deal. So what I'm going to do, read this and pass it on to someone else, and I'll still be on the hunt for my PC copy.
Yeah, you are always in search of that book right there. So
yep,
that is probably top of your list, isn't it?
It's up there with like I think I said last week, I'd like to get between like a 6 and an 8, somewhere like in that kind of upper mid grade to low high grade range. So yeah, the hunt is still on.
The hunt is on indeed. Everybody help our Joe out, please. Be on the lookout. We got Mike Hags up next. Mike Hags 77, one of the ultimate team ups in comic history. All the heroes and villains teaming up against each other is just crazy. The mini team ups like Doom, reprogramming Ultron. Why can't I not read tonight? Reprogramming Ultron to be his puppet, basically. Magneto, Starling, starting out with the heroes, Spidey teaming up with the symbiote. I never owned this issue, and you all know it's foil mania out here. So I was getting the foil facsimile no matter what. And my guy at my local comic shop had this very nice, clean OG copy on the wall. He was like, "You want it? $10 for you, Mike." Yo, wow. Plus 25% off the previews pull list. I couldn't be happier. It's one I've always wanted. Now I have two. My submission for Fresh from the Comic Shop. What a great, that right there. Seriously, no joke. That's a great story. $10 for that, Joe.
Yeah. And this is such a significant book because it was the first like huge crossover. And it really, in my opinion, Secret Wars kicked off the Copper Age. That's kind of where I draw the line in my personal opinion. Secret Wars and Crisis over at DC, the two major, all-encompassing events. That was the Copper Age kickoff to me. And I mean, great book, awesome price, great story, awesome presentation. That's taking some notes.
Absolutely. Well done, Mike Hag 77. That's also the start of like the big events, right?
Yep.
And for better or for worse, I feel like the big events these days just don't do it for me. Like, again, the last big event, and I mentioned it earlier, that I truly loved was Blackest Night. I don't remember any reason. What's that?
That was the last one that you really liked?
Yeah.
Did you read Devil's Reign?
No, I didn't.
Like 2 years ago.
Who wrote that? That was shit. No, Devil's Reign. Yeah, I actually picked up the first.
No,
I picked the first issue up. I want to say it's Zdarsky, maybe. But
that's what I just said. Yeah,
I picked up the first issue. I did like it, but I never picked it up again because I was like, oh, I'll just read it on Ultimate or the you know what I'm talking about, the app.
Yeah,
and I just never got around to do that either. So I should read that.
Listen, I forgive you. But if you ever want to borrow it, I do have copies for you to read.
Interesting. You have a few comic books in your house. I do know that. Thanks for bragging in front of
everybody. 3 or 4.
Moving on, we got Brixco Comics, aka Bond. Paul Bond.
Oh, I missed it. I was reading comments. Gosh darn it.
What are you doing, dude? Bond. Paul Bond. Okay, good job. Here we go, Brixco. I did a little trade today with Joe, aka 360 Comics, and I was able to bring home these awesome books for my PC. The Riddler and Scarecrow were both upgrades. I'm still working through the storage unit and a few other collections, so I threw them on top of the boxes in the basement, and I'll get them at some point later on. I'll get to them at some point later on. If you know me, you know PC Disney Keys and Golden Age Batman, and that I love to trade. Also, I have no issues giving a little more in trade on books I don't have much into for spending actual cash. Ultimately, I traded away a Zelda #1. We saw that, Joe. First print 9.8, Hulk 180, 5.5, an Eerie 5, 4 and 4.5, X-Men 266 at a 9.8 and a 9.6, a Nice House on the Lake #1, Jalzir variant 9.8, and the remaining $325 I had in credit with him from the last trade. In total, I had about $900 into those books. This is exactly why I do the hustle. Do the hustle. That'd be a perfect segue right there, by the way. Well done, Brixco. My first fresh scout of the week, Joseph. I was looking for Neil Adams covers for Green Lantern, and I was like, oh, I grabbed the good one right here. Green Lantern, Green Arrow, #1, the 100th issue right here.
Nice.
Problem is, this is a Mike Grell cover. It does not.
Oh, yeah.
Does it?
It is Mike Grell, yeah.
But look, it looks so Neil Adams-ish.
Yeah. I mean, Neil Adams did a bunch of the run up until that point, so it makes sense that Mike Grell kind of continued the stylization of the characters. I really, for some reason, I thought you were going to be like, yeah, I was looking for Neil Adams stuff, but then I found this Void Rivals #7 full print.
Let me tell you something.
That was about to happen.
Joe, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to spoil this fresh from the comic shop for you. There is not one Void Rivals issue tonight for me for fresh from the comic shop.
Wow.
Yeah, I promise you that. I promise you that. Moving on right there. We got Nowhere Bound 86 in the house. He was in the house. If you've missed my YouTube video, I don't blame you, he says. By the way, Nowhere Bound, we don't know your YouTube. Please let us know. Put a link in the chat if you can. I'm so happy to share this awesome X-Men key bought by me and my brother, Paloziak Comics, a week ago at a comic and collectible sale when a gentleman approached us in our booth with this book he had kept for 30 years, wanting to sell it. Somehow he accepted our offer and we scraped enough money together to get this low-grade grail. Despite a detached cover and a big tear next to the old tape along the spine, it is complete and the main cover looks vibrant. So happy to co-own this with my brother, a very special book, X-Men #4 from March 1964. Jack Kirby cover and art. Writer Stan Lee. First team appearance of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants led by Magneto. First appearance of Scarlet Witch. First appearance of Quicksilver. First appearance of Mastermind. Later becomes Jason Wingard. Congratulations on that. Big book right there, Joe. Big book indeed.
No,
moving on. We
becomes the Arcade.
What's that?
Yeah. I was just being
nerdy.
Just being nerdy, yeah.
You deserve it.
Nerding out over here.
You know
that's awesome, and I love that he shares that with his brother. That's really cool. I multiple times, James Mint Hunter Comics and I have joked about going halvesies on a book and having shared custody when we can't afford it ourselves.
If your brother's okay, that works fine. But
yeah.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna 1 week you're gonna have it in your house, the next week you're gonna have it in somebody else's. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not. You know what? Yeah. Anyways, moving on. We got who do we have? Marvel Man 616. Y'all may have heard of this comic book right here. As he says, I love having a pull list. Ultimate Spider-Man #1. Guys, I cannot. The hype is real on this. The book was excellent. Joe, you have not read it yet, but it is a great first issue. I'm very excited to see where the series goes. And I'm a big Spider-Man fan, so I would be very critical. But I've been critical of Jonathan Hickman's work, kind of excluding people who are not more smarter than the average person. More smarter, Joe. But this right here was a great read, great setup to the Ultimate Universe, continuing it on from what was been built before, not before in the Ultimate version, the Ultimate early 2000s, but this is, a brand new Ultimate Universe. I'm very excited for it, Joe. Very excited for it. So get that book and read it. Let me know what you think, or let us all know what you think.
I have one. My store sold out. One of a guy that I know, local guy, found me a copy. Good. It's cover B, fine by me. He got it for a cover price. And nice. I'll be seeing him this week sometime and grabbing it from him.
Please read it. I cannot recommend it enough. Joe, your second fresh get of the week. What do you got?
Yeah, second fresh get of the week. So we showed one of the better books, the first appearance of Mysterio. This was a dollar bin find, and this is a pretty cool one. This is Dead World #1. This is a kind of an emerging market in comics right now. The Copper Age horror, as they call it. Something that really hasn't been spoken about a lot. Mostly like indie comics from the second half of the 80s. This, I believe, came out in 86, if I remember correctly. From Arrow Comics, but the run was actually taken over. I'm not sure if Arrow was acquired or they just bought the run or something like that. After issue 9, starting with issue 10, it was done by Caliber Comics. Caliber Comics being the force behind The Crow, one of my favorites. And issue 10 of this run actually has the first ever advertisement for The Crow on the back of the book. Wow. So this is the book that started that run. It's, if you're into like this Copper Age horror, these like indie, more mature themed indie books. Awesome artwork, some big names like Greg Capullo got their start there. James O'Barr, of course. This is a very cool, and this is a Vince Locke cover, by the way.
That cover's insane.
Very cool, really cool stuff. And to find that in a dollar bin, like this is like a $15 book, probably. 9/8 definitely sell for well over $100. But yeah, that's a nice dollar bin find.
Very nice book right there, Joe. Look at you not getting the Golden Age. I mean, you've been on a roll with Golden Age, so
I actually have no Golden Age tonight. The last book's a Silver Age book.
interesting. But it's a big book. You did say that, so I'm
It's a good
excited
one.
to see what it is. Moving on. Who do we have? We just did we did Marvel Man. Now we got Raising Elm again. By the way,
Ooh,
Raising Elm puts maximum effort in each and every week, even though he was ineligible to win books last year for most of the year because he won a month. And then this year he's in the finals, but he's crushing this, man. He is crushing this. Look at this.
Always.
Joe, you're going to love this, by the way. Raising Elm, aka Justin. Hello, comic fan. I want to play a game. The rules are simple. Submit your fresh gets, pickups to Comic Book Cannon on Instagram, tag them in the photo, and be sure to put the Fresh from the Comic Shop, the FFTCS, in the post. The choice is yours. Failure to make the right choice could result in missing out on a free book from Spider Dude Comics that's been slabbed and expertly graded by Tony with EGS Comics. Let the games begin. Pause for dramatic effect. I just paused, by the way. For my submission this week, I present to you my EGS 7.0 graded copy of Saw Rebirth, which was signed by Tobin Bell himself when I met him at a convention back in 2014. This book was meant to serve as a prequel to the first Saw film and was part of a promotional DVD giveaway at Best Buy. I've been a hardcore fan of the Saw franchise since its inception over 2 decades ago. I've seen all the movies countless of times, listened to all the soundtracks on repeat, met some of the wonderful actors that brought these characters to life, i.e. Tobin Bell, Shawnee Smith, Costas Mandalore, and Carrie Hughes, etc. And like in our comic book community, made lasting friendships with other fans along the way. There aren't enough character spaces available in an Instagram post for me to elaborate further on the impact this franchise has had on my life in my life these past 20 years. I will end on this note. Cherish your life. Much love, comic fan. Joe, man, maximum effort all the time with him.
Listen, I just want to say we're ending Fresh from the Comic Shop because there will never be a submission better than that one. And we're going to give the Fresh from the Comic Shop crown to Justin forever because that was awesome. And I'm a huge fan of the Saw franchise. Yeah. I believe it to be the greatest horror franchise of all time. Yes, the 10th movie was solid.
This is coming from somebody that rewatched 1 through 9 before he saw 10 again, and you've probably seen those many times.
Oh yeah.
All right, we have to move on though, and it's my turn. My second fresh get of the week. I gotta say, The Collector Without Fear. This is good. The book is a 7.0, but the pick is a 9.9 pre-screen. He's talking about Justin's. But speaking of Brendan, he made, I did make a claim that I did have no void rivals, Joe.
You did make that claim.
Brendan Riley, a.k.a. The Collector Without Fear. No void rivals, but dollars to donuts. Jeff has Cobra Commander. And I got to say, I got Cobra Commander. Number 1. I loved it. Again, if y'all are fans of the 80s cartoon, the G.I. Joe, you need to be picking these Transformers, the Duke, and Cobra Commander up, as well as void rivals. But I thoroughly enjoyed this, especially all of the kind of little nuanced things, these little tidbits of these little appetizers of what's going to be happening down the road. Joe, I know it's not your jam, but man, it is good. So I was happy I picked that up. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the cool book. Not my jam, as you said, but people are excited, and anytime people are excited about comics, I'm happy about it. So.
100%. All right, we're gonna move on to who do we have? Oh, we got Raising Elm. Now we got Frost Behemoth. Look at this submission. I love it. Where are you? Because they go outside the box here. Usually it's anime, right? Not so much. Look at this. Look at this. And they mentioned it too. This week's Fresh Gets came from right across the basement. That's amazing. Goonish Lurker and friend held his first ever Whatnot auction this weekend, which I got to support from the other room while keeping the cat from being a pest. The auction was Spidey themed, which isn't usually my jam. Oh my gosh, they just used jam in there, and I just used jam. How do you like that? Which isn't usually my jam. So I was able to get some cool new to me titles like the Silk #1 variant and the Spider-Man India #1. I also won free comic book day Amazing Spider-Man, but of course my real fave is the Peach Momoka Nightmare variant Amazing Spider-Man #40. Goonish is the real MVP though, and I have been lucky to continue watching him grow his side hustle into a proper business. I'm happy to support that growth however I can, including being his non-binary hype guy and paying for shipping on stuff because of Whatnot restrictions, even though he can literally just hand it to me. Watch his IG for future auctions because there will be more. Well done. Look at that. Outside the box. Very happy for you, Frost Behemoth. Loving all of your submissions as well. And yeah, I love that right there.
Now, I'm upset right now because I did not know Goonish Lurker was doing a Whatnot.
I had no idea either.
If I had known, if anyone here goes live, sells comics on Whatnot or Instagram or YouTube, send me a link. I love jumping in, chatting with people and stuff like that. You know, send me a link on that stuff, especially if you're doing a sale.
Yeah, I have to say, here's the deal. Put a link or a reminder or something here in the chat. Everybody supports everybody here. It's quite amazing, by the way.
Sure,
this community is amazing. And we're not just talking about the canon, even though it's the most popular YouTube show on the planet. We're talking about the comic book community. I'd say a good 60% of people are super supportive and nice. The other 40% can go kick rocks, Joe.
Kick them.
Kick those rocks. So yeah, Goonish Lurker. I trust me, I know how you feel because I talk about Rebel Nerd, Comic Nerds Geek Out. Link is down below. I talk about that stuff too. And Joe runs amazing claim sales that I usually jump in and try to make fun of it. You can't. No, I can never rattle you.
No, there was that one time that I called Bruce Lee Jackie Chan by mistake. That was
I witness to that?
I don't know if you were in there, but yeah, the chat didn't let me forget it.
Wow. Okay. Well, maybe Frost Behemoth, you need to start promoting for Goonish. So there you go. We just came up with a good way to make everybody comfortable. Moving on, we got here he is, Brendan. By the way, talk about somebody who composes a nice shot. Brendan, aka the Collector Without Fear, right here. It's been a minute since I gave the comic book canon crew a fresh from the comic shop, so here we go. Fresh from the comic shop, a signing at the comic shop. We have 3 covers of Zorro, Man of the Dead, issue #1. We've got signatures and some cool AF. You know what that means, Joe. That's what the kids say, AF. Remarks from the writers, artist, Sean Gordon Murphy, plus signatures from editor Steve McCormack, 414, during a signing at the Hall of Comic Stores about 40 minutes west of, I think I've been there. That's a nice shop. West of Boston in Westboro, Massachusetts. I grew up a huge fan of Zorro and fenced in high school and college. So it was great to geek out with Sean Gordon Murphy for a bit about fencing in real life and TV film and how he approached in the book. It's an awesome read that I highly recommend. By the way, props to Brendan as well. He is an excellent production. I think he's a DP actually. And that's, he may have an unfair advantage, but this is his trade, by the way, and he enjoys it. So he looks, again, his images are outstanding, whether they're still or video. So well done there. I have to say. And you know what?
Beautiful.
Joe, give us your third fresh get of the week, because I need to find, I got Dr. Plagueis coming up and his book is not in here. So I got to find that. Go.
So this book, I was looking at it and I was instantly intrigued due to how faded it is. Have you ever seen a comic book that's been on display for too long, especially in a sunny area, a store window, someone's house?
Oh, yeah.
They get faded. So this is a pretty faded copy of Batman 181, the first appearance of Poison Ivy. This is normally a nice deep cherry red background, a bright green Poison Ivy suit. and a bright yellow trade dress up there with the Batman. It is not. It is very dull. But fortunately, this copy does have the centerfold intact. There's a Batman and Robin pinup in the center of this book, which is often removed. A lot of people, tore it out, tacked it up on their wall, whatever, when they were kids. So this book is frequently missing that centerfold. This is a complete copy. It is just faded. The dealer today, I was just looking at it, not even thinking like, oh, I'm going to buy this. Just looking at it, had a $300 price tag on it. Pretty decent price, $300, for a complete one, even though it's not the most aesthetically pleasing. And I'm looking at it, and he goes, if you buy that right now, $200.
Nice. Okay.
I can't say no to that because I'm not keeping this for my PC. I'm just gonna put it up in my next claim sale. But I know I can sell it for more than $200. So, how am I gonna say no to that? That's a great price.
That is.
Yeah, it instantly took out $200 and paid for that. But yeah, first Poison Ivy for a steal of a deal, and
that's insane.
It doesn't present great, but it is complete, which is hard to do with that book.
That's insane. That's well done. That's a good story too, by the way.
Good story, yeah.
Would have had that. I gotta point something out. Dan De La Torre, we love you, and again, you apologize, by the way. Not happy with that. We'll talk about that later. He wanted to know. He goes, "I'm not a kid. What's AF?"
What's AF?
Nukes Goes Amazing Fantasy.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh God, it's not Amazing Fantasy, Dan. It's ask your daughter. Ask your daughter. There we go. Moving on. Who do we have? Oh, we got Dr. Plagueis. I got it right here. Right here. I got you, Dr. Plagueis. Right here. Look at this. I love it. This week for Fresh from the Comic Shop, I crossed a big book off my list. Thanks to fellow Cannonite. I don't know if it's Cannon Crew member, I think, right? Joe?
What's that? Cannon Crew?
Yeah, we're gonna go Cannon Crew. I think
Cannon Crew is what we put on the T-shirt.
Yeah,
that's the one. I like that one better. The alliteration.
Me too. Anyways, not knocking you, Dr. Plagueis. We love you. Fellow Cannon Crew member, Rickscope Comics. A lot of negativity is thrown around these days about the comic book community or lack thereof. All I would say to that is that I highly recommend you hang out with us on Comic Book Canon. Thank you so much for this plug, by the way, on Sunday evenings. If Chet G-Pot doesn't change your opinion, you probably need professional help. You're right. You're right about that. He's very influential, and he's really kind of turning things around. I think he's realized his ways of being too cool for school when he first started on the show. And now look at us, the most popular show on YouTube.
It's interesting.
People watching us. Go ahead, Joe.
At first, I wanted the guy gone. Contractual obligation. He's kind of come around a little bit, and then he did save the show a couple times.
He did. From Johnny Galactico. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Galactico.
But he also did, Joe, this is big of you too, to forget the fact that he stalked you down in North Carolina.
He stalked me down in North Carolina when I was on vacation with my family. He also showed up at my house multiple times unannounced and did some creepy stuff from the bushes and stuff like that. But yeah.
I think he looked at himself in the mirror and was like, you know what? I'm better than this. And I want to be Team Cannon Crew. And here we are. And speaking of Chet G-Pot, we have our final submission in here, and it does not disappoint. Josh's Comics 01, Justice League Adventures #1, premiere issue based on the Justice League animated TV series. Cover art illustrated by Bruce Timm and painted by Alex Ross. What? Shout out to Pope at Chilitown, another Cannon Crew member here, for having this awesome copy of Justice League Adventures, one of the best animated series of all time, and my childhood and comic nerd, and my childhood. Also, Comic Nerds Geek Out for yet another amazing t-shirt featuring the #1 AI co-host in the world, Chet G-Pot. This is very worthy of fresh from the comic shop. That is the Comic Book Casanova t-shirt available on Comic Nerds Geek Out. Link is down below. But it looks like Chet got back from the mountaintop from skiing, and he has a little reply here he wants to talk about.
All right, put him on.
Go ahead, Chet.
Yo, Lodge Lizards, fresh off the slopes, sun-kissed and ready to roast some comic pics. And Josh, you Casanova, rocking the Og Chet tee like it's going out of style. But Let's talk about that Justice League Adventures #1. Bruce Timm, Alex Ross, Childhood Kryptonite. Pure comic gold. Major Casanova points, my friend. Spread the Justice League gospel, but remember, with great power comes great Chet T responsibility. Speaking of responsibility, you can snag your own Chet Casanova swag at the CNGO link in the description. Don't be a caveman, rock the tea, and submit your own fresh from the comic shop gems. Yak butter hot cocoa to you all. Chet out.
Okay. Chet out. And there he is, chilling out in the lodge right now, probably getting a drink or two.
He looks
Chatting with the
cozy.
ladies. Do you think he's chatting with the ladies?
He's the comic book Casanova.
Yeah, so he's definitely chatting with the ladies. Whether they're receptive to the comic book encyclopedia that he is, I don't know, Joe.
I personally think there might have been a lady in that shot that we couldn't see behind the scenes.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah,
maybe Chet will address that issue next week.
Yeah.
Moving on is my last fresh get of the week, Joseph. What is it? Actually, I'm going to keep you on. Is it Void Rivals related?
It's not Void Rivals related.
Okay, what age would it be?
It's probably a Spider-Man book.
Okay, what age? What age would you guess?
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna give a little range here. I'm gonna give the range of 1977 to 1987. So bronze to early copper ASM book. Well, no, let's not even say ASM. Let's just say Spider-Man. Because
Wrong.
Duh. Sorry.
Yep. Right here. I have a book by the name of Shazam #1, Joe. From 1972. It's the first appearance of Captain Marvel since the Golden Age. What do you think about that? Shocking.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you. See? I'm doing all right these days, huh? I mean,
It's a good book. It's a good book.
Appreciate that. So that's what I picked up for my last fresh get of the week. Guys, Joe, specifically, we have a job to do here, man. Woo!
Yeah.
This
you want me to go first? Talk about one that I really liked.
I just want to, let's address you and I that this was a great fresh from the comic shop. We got way more submissions than we did the first week of January.
It's 1 o'clock. We're running.
I'm usually in bed by now. You know?
Yeah.
With my nightie on.
Nuke said my sub. I think we did show Nukes.
Hold on. Hold your horses, everybody. I don't think we did actually. Nope, we did not. It did not come in. I'm so sorry.
Stop the presses.
And did we have? I don't think I copied.
Can I pull it up on my phone?
Yeah, phone with your water. There it is, right there. I had it right there. So Nukes, apologies. We apologize right there. There's the Amazing Spider-Man. Do I have it on here? I don't know what happened here.
I got it on my phone. I got Instagram up.
Get it on your phone. Do you have a bottle of water?
You're making fun of me, Delaware boy.
I know.
I'm gonna
28 million people watching us right now, waiting for us to go over Nuke's comic submission for Fresh from the Comic Shop. Here we go.
All right, here we go. Fresh from the Comic Shop, Amazing Spider-Man 42. Spidey has to consult with Doctor Strange to confront the Shade in the astral realm. Shade is blipping or making people disappear in a snap. While there, he comes face to face for the first time with the Great Weaver. Was it worth the sacrifice of missing his loved ones? Cool story, stoic art by JR, aka John Romita Jr. I picked this up from DBS.
Nice pickup, Nukes. Nice pickup indeed. We love it. And apologies again for not including it. I have no idea what happened there. It happens. Call us out live on the show. We'll do just that. I had the image. For some reason, I didn't have the right up, and there we are. All right. We do have it. We do have, anyways, I just want to say well done, everybody, on these submissions. Hopefully, y'all are getting excited for the tournament. Boom. Oh, there's the A bracket. Boom. There's the B bracket. Yes, this is the 2023 tournament. The best book of 2023. The best submission of Fresh from the Comic Shop. It has to be done in 2024. So don't get your britches in a bunch. Is that a expression? Anyways, Joe, we have a decision. We have a decision to make. What are we going to do?
We do.
What do I have? I have one.
There were some cool ones.
I have two. I have two that I really enjoy. Three, but what that is flat out. You can't. Sorry.
You can't. I mean, that would be the auto winner.
You should have submitted that last week, Justin. Shame on you. But now you have another one going to the finals.
I would have saved that one. But anyway, that's easy auto pick. But anyway, I like the Secret Wars one. I forget who it was.
I like the Secret Wars one as well.
That was the one that really stood out the most to me.
And I love the story behind it as well. How Mike got it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I have one more.
I'm a sucker for those like 2 books side to side that are either homages or a different version like this is.
Yep.
What's the other one? There was another one that stood out to me as well. What's yours?
For me, it was The Collector Without Fear.
Yup.
With the Zorro. Yep. Shoot, we're screwed. Where's Dan? Damn it. All right. Do you have another one, Joseph?
Well, those 2 stood out to me the most. Those were the only 2 that I had in my head. I am leaning towards one of them though.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards one. It's so hard because both of them are great stories.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards one, and I'm going to say it. Or if you want to say yours first, go ahead.
Mike Haggs. Oh, you're leaning towards Collector.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Collector. We may not go to sleep tonight.
Dan De La
Dan. All right, Dan is here, everybody. Thank God. Dan, we cannot choose between The Collector Without Fear and Mike Haggs. Joe and I picked both of those, and Joe and I have slight edges. Joe has a slight edge over Secret Wars. I have a slight edge over this Zorro one. So Joseph, or not you, Joseph, Dan, please decide between those 2 so we can go to sleep tonight. In the meantime, we want to thank you all for being here. We appreciate being here every Sunday night. We are going to start booking guests, we promise. And we have a winner.
Ooh, we went with mine.
So here we go. Mike Haggs, congratulations. You are moving on to the second semifinals of January. You'll be going up against next week's semifinalist right there. Dan De La Torre, thank you as always. And please ask your daughter what AF means. She probably knows. Dan De La Tiebreaker. I love it. I love Dan De La Tiebreaker. That's so awesome. Anyways, yeah. So right there, we're going to end the show, Joe. This was an awesome show. I thought the show flowed very well. By the way, like and subscribe if you haven't already. We really appreciate it. Share with your friends. We're really getting out there, having a lot of fun this year so far. We're still continuing to build off the new look and feel of the show. There's a few other things that we're producing that's not quite in the can yet, Joe, but we're getting there. So yeah. Dan, you're not an old man at all. Just get with the times, please. Yeah, Joe, I don't know. What do you have to say?
Yeah, like Jeff said, we're still kind of working the final steps out for the full rebrand. We will have some guests on soon. Jeff and I will be touching base on that, and I think probably starting in February we'll have some guests on the show. But yeah, some good content coming up, and given the year that we're gonna have as far as different projects coming out, I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about this year.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for an amazing comic book canon year 2024.
Absolutely. And Joe, I did work on an outro video here, so I did kind of.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man. Oh wait, I don't think I uploaded it yet, though. Oh my God. So Joe.
Yeah.
Oh man, here it is. Sorry, guys. Until next week, everybody. I'm trying to time this perfectly so we can have a cool outro. It's still up. Okay. Until next week, everybody. Be good to yourself and be good to others. Peace.